Published 1400 EDT, the 5th of September 2017. Updated 1400 EDT, the 5th of September 2017. Sky Sports News presenter Kirsty Gallacher arrives at SLU Magistrates Court. Wonder how Kirsty Gallacher is coping. The headlines have been screaming in outrage 3 times over the limit. Kirsty, banned driving drunk to collect her sons. Feel certain her shame in court would have felt overwhelming. But the anonymous internet commentariat wanted more. A stuck-up ice queen who still hasn't publicly apologized for her disgusting behavior. Chloe, East Anglia Shea needs a hefty fine, a year in the cell, and to lose her job. Harsh, but people like this always seem to think they're above the law of us lesser mortals. Dave, London Shea should be boiled in a vat of oil. Sasha, hurts when the proverbial SHT hits the fan. Our online world can be a tough place for women. Reading the judgments of the faceless voices in the comments section are a pretty easy way to self-harm if you don't have someone there to help tear you away, or remind you who you really are. And look, I get it. Drunk drivers are terrorists wearing a seatbelt, their ability to cause hurt equal to that of a jihadi with a grenade. My husband's favorite sister was killed by one when she was just 16. He is still haunted by her death. I have been to parties where doctors, lawyers and senior consultants have sloped off into their cars in the early hours, half the spirit cabinet the worse for wear, saying I'm perfectly fine, or it's only a short journey, or no one cares in the countryside. No, you are not. It still matters. And we all care. And we all want to scream at these people who can easily afford a taxi or a lousy Uber, but refuse because they are the masters of the universe, the clever ones who won't be told what to do, the superstars who believe the law applies only to plebs much lower down the food chain. But on Saturday, the 12th of August, Kirsty Gallacher was none of those things. She wasn't falling out the pub into her car. She'd left it in the car park. She didn't think the law was for other people, she just didn't know she was breaking it. Gallacher admitted a charge of driving a motor vehicle while above the legal limit. Gallacher is led into a car by her legal team as she leaves SLU Magistrates Court today. Shea went to bed, woke up and was on her way to collect her children from their dads, as she had promised. Her lawyer, Jennifer Dempster, said this is not intentional drink driving. She was not leaving the pub at midnight and driving home. She is horrified she is in this position. She is very remorseful and apologizes. Sorry is never good enough for the mob. A wise man once told me never say sorry. Never apologize. And he was right, it will never satiate their lust for a scalp. Of course there are no excuses. A drunk driver is precisely that, at whatever time of day. And the fact she was on her way to pick up her children while drunk is another stick to beat her with. Who puts their children in harm's way? If an ex-husband of mine tried to drive my children when drunk, it would be the last time he ever saw them on my watch. As Judge Lacar passed sentence, Gallacher was visibly upset, biting her bottom lip and struggling to find words to confirm she had understood, simply nodding her head. Getting over a divorce isn't an excuse either. Although mine nearly turned me into a spinster with gas and anger issues. District Judge Lacar described the charges as very serious. As well as a 2-year driving ban, he ordered her to carry out 100 hours of community service. And rightly so. But I am strangely uncomfortable with the reaction to Kirsty's fall from grace. Not the headlines, not the judgment, not the court case, and not even the views of those who hate drunk drivers as much as the rest of us. I am uncomfortable with the simmering malevolence of so many who seem to want more than justice to be done. Sack her, burn her, boil her. Gallacher blamed the stress of divorce from former rugby star Mark Sampson as the cause of her drink driving. Left, Gallacher on Sky and right, the pair together. There is something medieval about all this. As an epileptic, I know a few centuries before I would have been burned as a witch. We have not evolved so very far. And I am uneasy with the other judgments about her as a person because of her drink driving charge. Bad mum. Horrible presenter. Useless drunk. Crap in bed. It is curious, but men seem to escape being labeled as a bad dad, even if they are caught being exactly that. Allegedly, Wayne Rooney was caught more than 3 times over the legal limit in the same weekend, driving a car belonging to a 29-year-old woman, Laura Simpson. For Wayne and his alleged drunk driving, there is forgiveness on offer. Leave the guy alone. There are enough drunkards on the streets. Moreover, he is a human being who makes mistakes like the rest of us. Colchester. Some have even managed to blame his pregnant wife Colleen, not defending him as he is a prize idiot. But if the wife didn't spend so much time on her holidays, she could have kept a leash on him. Gary Scunthorpe. Or to blame the press and the police, a set up by the media in cahoots with police. Don't you think? Eric Tunbridge Wells. 2 very different treatments for the same alleged crime on the same weekend. And the only difference I can see is one has a lovely pregnant wife. Some have suggested that to be 3 times over the limit, Kirsty must have been drinking much more recently than the night before. That perhaps she takes vodka with her cornflakes, or has a drink problem. When Andy McPartlin of Ant and Dec fame started his 12-month rehab stint for addictions to prescription painkillers, booze and unnamed substances, he was positively beatified by the press and fellow celebrities, and I wonder again. What if she does use alcohol as a sticking plaster for life, like so many other middle-class women struggling to cope while she's trying to keep it all together and be a mom, and a newscaster, and a professional, and an ex-wife, and an advocate for health and fitness? Maybe something has to give. If you have no one you can trust to tell, perhaps the bottom of a bottle feels pretty friendly. And if this were true, where is the sympathy for Kirsty? When Andy McPartlin of Ant and Dec fame started his 12-month rehab stint for addictions to prescription painkillers, booze and unnamed substances, he was positively beatified by the press and fellow celebrities. Saint Ant could do no wrong. His struggle with alcohol and drugs was brave and courageous. The blue ticks on Twitter could not type their support quickly enough, flagging their own empathy and signaling their virtuous embrace of mental health issues in 140 characters or less. Truly, he has been brave. But where is this same support for Kirsty if she had a short sidekick and a massive forehead and a daft accent? Would her problems with alcohol be forgiven just as fast? Or are we still actually in the 1960s, where a woman's first duty is to be a respectable wife and mother? Kirsty been judged on these qualities, and has been found wanting. Try to be attractive and a professional as a woman and you are done for. Kirsty was guilty of both these sins. But a man is only judged on his ability to do his job. Take Wayne and Ant: if you can entertain on the TV or the football pitch, you are untouchable, no matter how much you are alleged to have drunk or how many prescription drugs you take. Allegedly, Wayne Rooney was caught more than 3 times over the legal limit in the same weekend, driving a car belonging to a 29-year-old woman, Laura Simpsoni. Hope Kirsty sees this duality in life. It excuses nothing, but it helps to remember why we all have to be tough at times. And the tough ones will out there wishing you well. We are all flawed. We all have tawdry secrets. All of us are guilty of something. If having a bit of ashttty time and not coping with it too well makes you a terrible sinner, then we are all guilty. I will hold my hands up. And once we've stuffed up, the best we can do is to make amends. I have offered to do community service with Kirsty. I think it is something we should all do. It is the truest kind of punishment, to do something good in the place of something bad. It is not harsh words or insults. Not threats or cash. It is not buying our way out of a problem. Perhaps it is an apology at its most sincere. While the boys pay their way out of their problems and get a sympathetic hearing from the press is brave, the girls will do their 100 hours of sorry. Perhaps those howling for Kirsty to burn in oil or wanting her sacked to compound her shame can be kind enough to go about their perfect lives.